Hello one, hello all, and welcome to CinemaSins. I love how the camera slows down and looks around comically. Great way of demonstrating the film's silliness. The island is not that big. When it comes to Indiana Jones spoofs, we expect Raiders. Here, we get Temple of Doom Spike Chamber. Why isn't he just running away? He managed to hold onto the book. Impressive, but a load of tosh. Autopirate. That's funny enough to get a pass. They squeezed in just about every famous pirate. That's impressive.
There was a little town called Bikini Bottom.
One of this opening narration's purposes seems to be to introduce the world of SpongeBob sincerely to the uninitiated. Given that it came 10 years after the last film, it's quite a noble purpose. The look of the film is great. The first film was upgraded from the television's look, but this is more detailed. The background's of great texture. It's to be expected, but we're not even 5 minutes in before the first fart joke lands. And it's not even a good one.
Just keep waiting. Please, Mr. Pirate, sir.
Aww, that little seagull is just adorable. That snow globe snowflakes are tiny Krabby Patties. That's a neat touch.
Because the food was really bad.
Now is that really necessary?
Plankton reacts to Burger Beer's narration. That doesn't feel right. Where's the chum bucket? It should be right there. It's cartoon level animation, but it's fluid and clean without losing the hand-drawn quality, with most characters using intricate lighting. Am I the only one who reads this as Plankton paying off Mr. Krabs' past bad encounters with tartar sauce? If so, that's clever. They set up barbed wire and stakes, built the barricade, and dug the trench in only a few seconds? The propeller wings would slice them into fragments, not fries.
It's gonna take a lot more than potatoes to bring this baby down!
Ha! Brilliant! How could the potatoes go through the wings vertically when they're coming from the front? Not only are there not nearly that many pickle fragments, they wouldn't have rained anywhere near the fries. Brilliant! Where did all the pickles go? How could Sandy have driven inside the barricade?
Excuse me?
Hey, Seagull, SpongeBob will see your fart joke, and drop it.
Well, it's gonna take a lot more than mayo to stop.
That's not as funny if they do it twice in 2 minutes.
Barnacles, I'm out of gas. Something you can't resist.
Plankton knows even Mr. Krabs wouldn't part with the formula for money.
He's been out there crying for 20 minutes.
They repaired the damage and removed the robot in 20 minutes? The sight of a bored wife playing solitaire, even a computer one, says a lot. What kind of safe can be opened from the inside? That robot broke down. How can it still dance functionally?
Wait a minute. I think I forgot to empty Gary's litter box today.
So SpongeBob normally empties Gary's litter box before work?
Oh, make it stop, Krabs! Make it stop!
Using his shrill voice as torture, folks, is brought to you by Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob SquarePants. The tape dispenser goes from beside Plankton, to further away, to beside him again. Mr. Krabs' ears are in his eyes? I'm pretty sure that's not how crabs work. Plankton couldn't escape before. How did he do it now? That book's fine print is ridiculous. It just repeats the parts SpongeBob reads dozens of times. Also, if SpongeBob can't commit the formula to memory, doesn't that mean he needs to check the formula with every patty he makes? No way. I love how bored by all this Squidward is.
Plankton is your enemy!
So is he an anemone or a plankton?
Well, someone had to do it.
Come on, Mrs. Puff. You're taking my job here.
Oh, I was so close to gaining the people's respect/fear. Oh, when will my frustration/humiliation end? Not now, hun. I'm ranting/raving.
Using slash in spoken dialogue that much doesn't gel well. How?
Please tell me there's something soft below me.
Nope.
It'd be funnier if it showed him falling on something especially hard.
Without it, there will be a complete breakdown of social order.
What about Sundays, when the Krusty Krab is closed? The first of many Mad Max spoofs, folks. They're mostly well done. Given anything written in the book comes true, why doesn't he banish the seagulls? So the story in a magical book, untouched for centuries, is happening now? We're used to warped logic, but still. Patrick was in the Krusty Krab earlier. If knowledge that it's missing is what caused the characters to go Mad Max, how come Patrick wasn't already?
Excuse me, I need a moment. With that formula, I could rule the world.
Speaking of soliloquy everyone knows, folks, is brought to you by Plankton.
No Plankton teamwork.
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 Tie 'em up.
Plankton's inability to pronounce the word tires long before it stops. Hey, tape dispenser? Sandy's TV remote will see you moving elsewhere in one shot, and then moving back later, and raise it.
Grab me, baby, grab me, baby, grab me!
Do I even need to explain this joke? It's an old one, yet I never tire of it. They were over inner Bikini Bottom mere moments ago, yet when they drop, they're at the outskirts. Also, Patrick had just left Sandy's place. That joke basket just tickles my funny bone, folks. The characters were near SpongeBob's house. Now, it's no longer in sight. There's going off mall for a joke, and then there's this. The mob is running faster than SpongeBob here. How did he lose them? Even given the apocalypse, there's nowhere like this in or under SpongeBob's house.
Putting together a team is a lot harder than I thought it would be.
So ends 4 minutes of failed team recruiting that could be removed from the film with no consequence.
Everything we know and love has been destroyed.
Man, this just got grim. That's not how brains work, even in SpongeBob.
Hello, Plankton. Come and play with us.
That's effective, even if you don't get the Shining spoof. That's both creepy and hypnotic. You just can't turn away from it, folks. How did objects from SpongeBob's dream exit it?
Hey, don't take it personally. I just assume everyone is lying.
That is a horrible way to live your life.
If you take nothing else from this film on board, folks, take this.
Teamwork.
Oh, brother.
We can do anything when we have teamwork.
Never expected a spiritual successor to the classic Fun song. It's almost as great, too. That cliff's way too near the chump bucket. So all these citizens anticipate them needing Karen? That's a bit of a stretch. SpongeBob was in the open for 30 seconds. No way did no one see him. Brilliant. You can always hear the filmmaker saying, "This sequence is too short. How can we put in some brief tension on the rescue without altering the result?" Not all gross humour in SpongeBob works, but it does here, because it's not too obtrusive. That is the most useless location for a taco bar. Not only is it way out, but how is anyone supposed to get up there? There is definitely not a toilet in that booth. Most of the stuff they do can be seen used on the time machine later, but not any wood from sewing the block in half, nor the thread of wool.
Working together in harmony.
Reprise. Cartoon voices make for good harmonies.
I'm glad you're on my TM.
Oh, Sheldon. That's the sweetest thing you've ever seen.
Well, that was swiftly callous, considering what he just said. They've just crossed from surreal storytelling to full-blown acid trip. I'm okay with that. And I'm not okay with that.
The Great Krabby Patty famine is over!
How would a famine lead to Bikini Bottom being drowned in a sandstorm?
What kind of a name is Bubbles?
Ooh, better hope Plankton never discovers the Powerpuff Girls. Or Lilo and Stitch, for that matter. The stop-motion animation of Bubbles is delightfully surreal, and that makes it fit really well. Of all ways to reference The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I never expected referencing the smartness of the dolphins through having one watch over the universe. Well played. They put in that symbol. I'm definitely not okay with that.
What happened to Saturn and Jupiter?
Jupiter and Saturn are gas giants. They cannot collide like that, much less crack.
Now we're a team.
What? A TM? A team!
Aw, that's sweet. Why isn't Plankton helping SpongeBob? Scary device reveal that turns out to be harmless, folks, is brought to you by Burger Beard. Honestly, when it doesn't have animated characters on screen, the live action isn't good.
Alright, you feather rat!
I believe the politically correct term is rats with wings. That bird-sized cubicle wasn't there earlier.
Bye-bye, Mr. Poop. Now I can get my gold sticker.
Kyle can make even a fart joke charming. He can also make self-product advertising charming too. How would he get underwear under his feathers in the first place? How come the time machine keeps appearing in different locations? Yeah, that's physically impossible for obvious reasons. The hero's mental breakdown, folks, is brought to you by SpongeBob SquarePants. Apparently time machines can recover from being demolished when no one is looking, folks. The order of the fish changes. It's most notable with that one.
Preservation?
Yeah, that's clearly Mr. Krabs' voice.
Preservation?
The choral music really lends this scene weight. Mr. Krabs was down with the others 25 seconds ago. Sacrificial altar from nowhere. Apparently when playing Executioner, Squidward sees the need to don his mask, take it off, and re-don it again.
I smell Krabby Patties.
There is no way the smell would travel all the way down here. Ha! Brilliant. Squidward and Mr. Krabs' Mad Max clothing covers less skin than their normal clothing, so we should see it underneath. Not only would the character's trek not be remotely near the Titanic, it's well known the ship is split in two and missing most of its funnels. This travelling montage is full of what the sight gags. Thankfully, most work. I've always found the sunlight dancing on the seabed near the surface especially beautiful.
All secondary characters come with me.
Fourth wall breaks usually work. That's way too on the nose though. SpongeBob doesn't feel that? The detail of Bubbles still having toilet paper trailing behind him is an all too real one, folks.
I can get you safely to the surface.
Both Sandy and Mr. Krabs can breathe above water anyway.
Not a lot of leg room in here.
Looks like plenty of leg room to me. The characters getting more shaded before they cross to the surface makes the transition quite effective. They come out of water in the last 24 minutes. If you came for them being CG, you'll be restless by then. If you came for them being traditionally animated, as most of us will, you'll finish the film on a low note. And if you came for both, the two parts are too structurally different to form a cohesive whole. Still, the design, rendering and animation of them in CG is a good fit for the established designs. SpongeBob characters wouldn't work in Pixar quality CG, they're too stylized, they need squashy CG to fit. Plus, the live action is shot with glowing, oversaturated colour to fit the stylized designs better. Credit must be given where it is due, folks. But it doesn't excuse that there's no reason for them to be CG, except for marketing, given that they've been traditional every other time above water. That said, it gives the film another credential. It's not just a traditionally animated movie made by the American film industry in the 2010s, it's a mixed media project with 3 prominent styles of traditional animation alongside the CG. That's too rare in modern media to not get recognised.
A giant hairy porpoise! It's beached! It's suffering!
That whimsicalness is refreshing alongside being funny. All their antics are really exhausting to watch by this point. Doesn't help that they are less funny than the ones below water. Hey, Cat in SpongeBob's dream? SpongeBob and Patrick's sugar running will see your hypnotic images and raise it.
SpongeBob!
Is the baby saying SpongeBob? How? And why?
$8.99 for a Krabby Patty.
All those people wouldn't be buying it for that.
There was this magical dolphin from the future who shot us out of his blowhole and now
Wait! That's not in the book.
Wouldn't you have seen Bubbles in the book's story when SpongeBob and Plankton were time traveling?
It happens when I'm nervous.
Except it doesn't. This is the first time normal Squidward has ever inked himself. While we're on the ink, it vanishes straight away.
What is in these things?
That's doubly hilarious, not only for what he says, but for that guy's reaction. Most of their powers match their personalities, but it's not clear why Mr. Krabs is a robot.
Maybe we should have picked a better superpower for you, Patrick.
They picked their superpowers? Their choices weren't very practical, except for, ironically, Mr. Krabs. There's action screw-ups that make the fight more difficult, and then there's this. How come Sandy wasn't with them for the start? This whole action finale is half Pixar chase sequence, half superhero cartoon antics. The mix is shaky, but it starts out strong. That Jurassic Park reference is so overdone. It's well beneath the filmmaker's talents. That is just preposterous. Why didn't they do that before? The 3D glasses are a nice touch. Hey, gang, Squidward will see you putting on speed burst late, and Razor popping the book's bubble late. Where did the ship's anchor go? It's just cartoon antics for 3 minutes straight. It's just too draining by now. It leaves what's intended to be the film's highlight a drag. Not only does it not make sense for him to have a butter gun, it would be funnier if it was tartar sauce. That would echo earlier. His hand gaps are way too small for the cannonballs to fly through. Sandy and Squidward weren't defeated. Why aren't they still fighting? Finally, someone picked a practical superpower.
Come on, team up with me. We'll be rich and powerful.
Greater Villain Offers Lesser Villain False Team Up, folks, is brought to you by Burger Beard and Plankton. It took Burger Beard 2 days to sail from Bikini Atoll to Schulte Shoals. Here, Plankton sends him back with 1 kick. SpongeBob may have moved, but Plankton should still be behind him, judging by that fence present in both shots.
I I left you a little surprise.
Rock hard abs!
SpongeBob just wrote that they went home. How did you do that? Plankton needs to revert to his old self, but it's still not satisfying to have his growth undone. Plankton could, you know, get off and run. Didn't he lose his feathers? There's a reason this theme tune is beloved. It sums up the tone of SpongeBob perfectly. I understand they didn't want to straight up reprise the theme tune, but the rap battle is not one of the film's highlights.
That was pretty good, actually.
That's reflective of most people's first experience with SpongeBob. They find it annoying at first, then they warm up to it. The biggest problem is the film is so torn between being surreal and a big adventure that it winds up being too draining even for 83 minutes. It never quite shakes off its television roots. For all that, the film is clearly the result of passion. The filmmakers set out to fulfill their eccentric ideas, and while not all of them worked, it still leaves a film that's far more heartwarming.
You know what this needs? A little interpretive dance.
That reference to the classic Culture Shock episode comes out of left field, but I'm not complaining. Ordinary scrolling credits are commonplace, but it's a step down from the colourful wave credits of the last film. Can't see many sitting through this. It's a pity, because the coda is charming. Minus 63. Truth be told, I thought this one would fare worse, but it's got its fair share of highlights.